I'm Aaron Canada alongside John Schiffner on the Manager's Show on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. And Schiff, Y-D, 5 o'clock start. There was some rain earlier, but for better or for worse, we're here. And, Y-D in 4th place in the Eastern Division. You guys in last place in the Eastern Division as it's been. But we've talked about it on the air that you don't like to talk about the playoffs, so that's the last thing we're going to say about it. But over the course of the last couple of games, the team has really come alive, and you've talked about making changes for players to make them better every single day, and apparently that's really paying off.
Well, again, I put a lot of faith in what Pat McGee and Sully have done with the hitters and what the hitters have done with listening to Pat and Sully. I mean, they've done a very, very good job. They have certainly cut down their strikeouts. They certainly have done a better job with 2 strikeout bats. There's clutch hits. There's better swings, and less strikeouts, more base on balls. I mean, they have done exactly what those guys have asked them to do. They've made adjustments, and this is what's happening. We're starting to play better. The starting pitching is better. Our closing, we're playing like a real good baseball team right now. Again, like I think I said earlier in the season, we can certainly mention the playoffs. I mean, did we dig ourselves a hole too deep early, or can we hang on and see what we can do? We're chasing 2 teams who are very not that we can see them. We can see them now, so let's see what happens. We have 10 left, and, I figure we've got to win 7 out of the 10 to really, really put pressure on those 2 teams, and we'll have to see what happens. I mean, God, we could do less than that, but I think if we go 7 out of 10, we got a really good shot at making the playoffs.
Speaking of players who have really come alive and have gotten better day by day, the couple of players announced as all-star selections, Dane Phillips and Matt Cook, and Richie Schaefer headed to the Home Run Derby.
Very proud of all those guys, and a number of the other guys finished. They were close, but it's a numbers game at a certain point, and unfortunately, some of the numbers weren't good enough. But those 2 guys have had tremendous seasons for us. They've done a great job. Dane has been just a valuable commodity for us, playing 4 positions. Cookie has been just tremendous out of the pen, so it's a great honor for them. It's looks good for the A's, and Richie, obviously, I mean, he's not one of these guys that's one of those flash in the pans who puts on a show in batting practice, and that's the only time he hits home runs. Richie Schaefer's a quality hitter. He's got long ball threat, and it'll be fun to watch him go at Fenway Park.
Yeah, he's hit, as you've said, some of the most towering home runs you've ever seen, and that's a high fence out there and left at Fenway, but it's not very long, and a guy like Schaefer who's got that stroke should really put on a show.
Well, if there's anything indication of our workout we had at Fenway, Richie's going to be just fine. I mean, he launched a number of them out that day, so I think it'll be fun to watch him go, and it's a lot of fun. It's a really great experience for the kids to do that, and like I said, I couldn't be happier those 3 guys. And we would be remiss without mentioning that Tucker Healy is an alternate pitcher. Although who knows what'll happen with that? It's kind of an unannounced thing, but I'm going to announce it because he was selected by the managers as one of the alternate pitchers, and I think that's a nice honor that they really felt that strongly that if a pitcher falls off, I don't know what number Tucker is of the 3 pitchers, but if a pitcher cannot compete in the All-Star game, he would be one of the 3 that would be considered.
Now, in your experience as a Cape League manager, seeing several All-Star games, how likely do you think it is that a pitcher will be pulled from the game for injuries or various other reasons?
It's a good chance. There is a good chance. The situations we have now where college coaches are now got their fishing poles out and reeling guys in, as we know. Georgia Tech reeled in Buck yesterday. So, who knows what could happen in the next 7 days. I don't wish that on any of the teams, but it's a potential it could happen. Obviously, there's always a potential for an injury or someone just overthrows. And, if he's throwing on Tuesday, let's say a relief pitcher throws on Tuesday and overthrows, maybe he won't be available. There's always those little things like that. But it has happened, and, it'd be awesome to see Tuck get a chance to pitch.
Speaking of starting pitching, as you mentioned, Buck Farmer making his last start yesterday. Keith Bilodeau finally deciding to sign with the Giants organization. So Pat Light getting work as a starter tonight, made 3 starts coming in, 2 tonight. But his last 5 appearances out of the bullpen. And you've mentioned on previous manager shows that he's really starting to trust his stuff, and he's really starting to like how he pitches against this competition.
Oh, yeah, he's found his, and again, it's a small college conference. He doesn't see the day in and day out competition hitting-wise that he's seeing here, and it takes a while to adjust your stuff. I mean, he got away with a lot of mistakes in that, especially with his breaking stuff in that conference where, I mean, we mentioned it the other day, he would throw a 2-0 slider, and it would be probably be a rinky-dink slider in a sense, and it's taken for strike 1, and then he probably throws 2 two real good 95-mile-an-hour fastballs, and that guy's gone. In this league, you don't throw that slider at 2-0 because they'll hammer it, and they might hammer your 95-mile-an-hour fastball if it's not put in the right place. So he needed to learn how to pitch against better competition, and he has. He's done a very, very good job. And that's been the fun thing for this summer, is watching some of these guys really learn what they need to do to get better. And they're only going to go back to just going to imagine him in that conference next year. With the 95, with a better breaking pitch and more location, he could be unhittable.
He's John Schiffner. I'm Aaron Canada. It's the Manager's Show on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.